Welcome to the channel. Today we'll be exploring the old graveyard in Ramsgrange, County Wexford. And this little graveyard wasn't always just a burial ground. At one time it was the centre of Catholic worship for the community and the site of a terrible atrocity that local memory never forgot. There once stood a little chapel here, just a small mud wall thatched structure. It was a vital place for Catholics during the suppression of the penal laws. But back in 1798, during the rebellion, the yeomen came over from Duncannon Fort and burnt the chapel down. But what's more tragic than that is while it was on fire, local memory has it that a group of kids come over to watch, and the yeomen aimed at them, and I quote, added the crime of murder to sacrilege. Then after the chapel was destroyed, the government gave the community a grant to rebuild. And in 1803 they built the stone T-shaped chapel. And there's nothing left of that chapel either, only the finial cross you see over the entrance of the graveyard. But this story has a much happier ending, which I'll explain a little later in the video. Okay, so now we're just going to walk around and have a read of some of the headstones here, to get to know some of the residents. You can see here we've got, I'd say there was an obelisk on top of this, broken off. I don't see any evidence of the part, well, unless if you just look down there, that's probably part of it. A Celtic cross probably on top of it. But in one of the old chapels here, 1803 they built one after the thatched church, and they say there's two crosses that are still visible in the graveyard today. So I just noticed these two up against the wall here. I want to actually see if it could be them, as well as the finial cross on top of the gate. But you've got these two crosses here. Now, I don't know if they were on top of the 1803 church or if they're just there from someone's grave that broke off, but there's probably a good chance they did belong on the church. The T-shaped church. Anyway, that's interesting. So, just make our way to a stone that, see if we can read. There's some that are not so old. I want to try focus on old ones, as old as possible. But here we go. We can try this one. And we've got erected by Walter Kennedy of Kilbride in memory of his son William Kennedy, who departed this life November the 4th, 1854, aged 29. Also in memory of, must be Walter himself, Kennedy, who departed this life March 9th, 1846. And Walter was aged 76. And his son Philip Kennedy died 16th of February 1898, 75. Alright, let's see. The sun makes it actually very dark to read that from the screen. But we have erected by John Barron, formerly of Ramsgrange, in memory of his brother, I think, Luke Aspel, who departed this life, that looks like May the 6th, 1884, aged, hard to make out the year on that. Is that 14? Torch not powerful as I thought. 14 I think, yeah. 14 years. And Mary Power, Died March 3rd, 31st, 18. That's 90 or 80, is it? 18, I think it looks like 96. 1896, aged 40. Or is it 90? Don't know. Probably see when I go back and see it properly. Also, Anne Tobin. I can't really make that one out. I think it's Tobin. Died the 9th, December 9th, 1905, aged 43. Yeah, it's very hard to make part of that one out. It's a bit of a challenge. And the same would be this for this as well, but I can see Robert Malloy. Yeah, there wouldn't be much chance of reading all that out, I wouldn't think. So anyway, let's come across the graveyard. Yeah, so we'll make our way over. We have a monument here, Celtic cross. Looks like a Jesus face in the centre of it. And then we've got this letter in here. It looks like lead lettering, and most of it's fallen off. But it says, "Sacred to the memory of William Joseph Anglum, MD, Riverview, Arthurstown, who died 15th of June 1932, aged 56. And then the writing's fallen off there, but I think it says also his wife Mary Anglum died 19th of July 1947, aged 65. Also their son Noel Anglum died February 1977, is it? Yeah, 1977, age 57, in Nigeria. Aye. Okay, so now let's walk our way down towards the back. We've got a iron gate here surrounded, although half of them are missing. I just poke my head in there, but I don't see anything. No stones. There's absolutely nothing in there. There's no way of finding out who's in there, I'm afraid. And it's all overgrown around the edge of it there, so we'll just come around this way. Yeah, can't read anything on that. And we've got somebody here, Michael and Ellen Malloy, St. Leonard's, and their children, Edward, James, John, Mary, Michael, and Brian, also Kate, Annie, and Margaret. But it doesn't give an age. It must have been all young children, I guess, were they? It doesn't say, it doesn't have an age, it doesn't have any other information, just their names. It doesn't say if they lived full lives or... Now, these are all the latest kind of stones in here. You can see dates of 2013, and that's probably the most recent one, I would say, 2013. It's a nice granite cross there in memory of Catherine Doyle of New Ross, who died 21st of March 1888, aged 45 years. I don't know if you can see that there. Also her brother James Riley, who died 14th of March 1886, and he was 43. Sorry guys, you can't see that, the gimbal there just acting up. Yeah. Anyway, let's work our way back up. So we got
a little tomb there up against the wall, but in beside it there we have another one, a little small one, just in there. If you can see that, just hidden in there. You see they cut pathway through the grass. A lot of it is long in places, but it's a nice little path carved through it, which is great. Then there's another stone here up against the wall. No writing on it. And then again we've another one. And there's nothing to see on it, unfortunately. They're just sitting there up against the wall, so we don't know if there's graves there, or if they're just put up there from falling down or something. Again, more damage, probably another obelisk or Celtic cross. Again, I don't see anything around that could belong to it. Probably overgrown. Anyway, and then here we've got, it's not a lot of writing on this one, but it says, to the memory of Mary Cummins, who died the 24th of December 1900 on Christmas Eve, and her age was 61 years. And then it looks very difficult to read there, but I think that might be our husband Peter. Yeah, I can't get any closer than that. Yeah, Peter Cummins. Age, yeah, you can't really make out the rest of that, unfortunately. Yeah, I can't see the rest of that, I'm afraid, guys. Oh, very dangerous in the high grass. We'll fall down a hole there. Yeah, so just up to the top left of the graveyard there, there's this fairly impressive looking monument, a cross surrounded by black railings. It looks like it's only after being painted and sandblasted or something like that, but we'll go over to there in a minute and we'll have a look at that. Well, I just want to have a look at this Mary statue. Pretty cool. Love this. Our Lady. Praying pose. And see down the bottom there, there's an inscription there at some point. I can actually make out the name Anne, but yeah, the rest of it can't be read. Then this is a stone in the same plot. Again, I can't read anything on it. And we got 3 stones on this plot, lichen covered really badly. Again, just some words you can make out on it. It wouldn't be worth trying to read. And see, the corner of that stone is sliced off. And there, if you look at the back of this stone here, you can see the cross. Looks like a cross on a hill carved into the back of it, which is pretty nice. And we can just lower the camera down there. You can see there's a lot of damage there. It looks like it looks like just from a grave plot, some broken headstones, pieces of it there. But I can walk up the side over here and we'll have a look at this pretty impressive monument. Wow, and look at this. You can see on the gate here we have R. Brown 1886. It's only freshly painted. This wasn't painted that long ago. It's actually really good condition, beautiful looking. But if we can get a look, we have the IHS in the centre of the cross there. And then we have, of your charity, pray for the soul of Mary Ann Cummins, Need Doyle, Shebegan, who died. That's actually scratched out the number for the actual day. June 1930, aged 72 years. Also her son Thomas, also known as Tom, died the 14th of June 1979, aged 82 years. Also his wife Rita died the 23rd of May 1982, aged 82.
So earlier in the video I promised you a happy ending. Well, just a few decades later the Sisters of St. Louis arrived in Ramsgrange, and before the convent was even built they used the ruins of the 1803 chapel of this very graveyard as their school. The story is for part 2, where we'll show how they healed Ramsgrange and remembered them at their cemetery. So give us a like and a subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss part 2 or any of our future videos. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.